you have some really unique studies and really unique results. And I was wondering if you could just share the one of your I don't know if this was a test or a strategy or just a challenge. Tell the audience about the lorem ipsum uh,
That will
challenge.
be with me till I die. uh, but FYI, your sound is a little low. It got low
Yep. Let me
just
lean in a little closer. Here we go.
in case it doesn't mess up the audio later.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a competition to rank for rhinoplasty plano. Rhinoplasty is a nose job, and Plano is outside of Dallas, Texas. And it was a sprint. It was 30 days, and the only rule was you had to have a brand new domain, so you couldn't have an existing domain you've done something to. Other than that, whatever you want to do. And I felt I had a pretty strong team with me at the agency. I felt I was pretty decent at SEO. So it was me and 27 other, I think, professionals jumped in. And at the end of that 30 days, I think we took fifth officially, but no one was lighting the world on fire. I think the guy that won, who's actually now a friend of mine, I think he was on page 8 or page 9. We were mid page 9 in that fifth spot. But 2 weeks later, we went to page 1 in Google, and we didn't do anything to it. It was just after launch. And then 2 weeks after that, we were number 1 in Google. And about 2 weeks after that, we were 1 in Google and 1 in Maps. And then we wiped out the maps, and we were the knowledge panel, so we were rhinoplasty plano, which was pretty funny. And people really started to lose their minds at this time, and the reason they lost their minds is because we did the entire site in lorem ipsum. So we built, a homepage in lorem ipsum. We built a target page for the term in lorem ipsum, and we built supporting pages. We built out a silo for them all in lorem ipsum. And then what we did is we did the math. How many times we needed the target keyword in certain places, its variations in certain places, contextual terms in certain places, and then we very crassly copied and pasted the words into the lorem ipsum in those places the right number of times. Really to show that while you certainly need good content, good copy to convert, when somebody comes to your site, you want them to do something, right? And that's where the good copy comes in. But when it comes to rank, that's a whole other animal. And rank has nothing to do with good content. It has everything to do with math. And if you give the algorithm the math that it wants, you can rank very, very well. About three
Super
months.
intriguing. Yeah, yeah. They, so, kind of expounding on that. Is that where Surfer comes into play? When I look at something like Surfer SEO and these other tools, and I can't wait to talk about your tool and what your Page Optimizer Pro. But when we look at these, it'll say, "Hey, your content's too long," and you're like, "What do you mean? I've got this really robust article that really covers the topic." And sometimes, when you reduce the amount of content, does it play into that keyword density in that scientific portion of the algorithm? Is that what you think?
A better way to think about it is term frequency in specific areas. So there are different places that Google will look on a page, such as your title tag, your H1, your H2s and H3s, your paragraph text. Those are all separate places that Google will look, and I think the better way to think about it is term frequency in those areas, more so than a density, but it's so similar. You could, I think, if you thought about it as density, I think you'd be totally fine. Density within those particular regions. Term frequency, I think, is like the counts, I think, are a better way to look at it, but you'll get there on density as well.
Yeah, and one other thing, and I heard this conversation with you and Matt Diggity, was talking about not trying to make it difficult for Google to understand. So let's say we have a personal injury attorney listening, and he wants to rank for, let's say, Houston car accident lawyer. So some SEO specialists would say, to optimize maybe in the title and the H1, they would say, Houston car accident attorney, Houston auto accident lawyer or law firm. And we know that synonyms and the related play into that. But I heard where you mentioned like, hey, make them consistent. Don't try to confuse Google. So can you kind of elaborate on that too?
Yeah. Can you imagine opening a book and you look at the table of contents and chapter 4 has a title, right? And then you go to chapter 4 and you get there on the right page and the title is something different? Close but different? Wouldn't that be weird? Wouldn't that like throw you off a little bit? Am I on the right page? Did I do this wrong? That's the same thing to me if you do a different page title, the title that search engines see, and then a different H1, the title that humans see. It makes no sense to me to try to out clever it. But we've run this test before multiple times, and it always wins having the same title, page title, and same H1 will always win. But bots you have to make it as easy as possible for them. Google's amazing, right? Unbelievable, and the semantic understanding that it has is unparalleled. But at the same time, why make it hard? You know, like make it
Yeah.
easy for Google to understand what this page is about. Their top four places to put a keyword. They've been consistent since 2015, and that's putting the keyword in your URL, your title tag, your H1, and one time in paragraph tags. And if you do those four things, you've probably done 60% of SEO right then and there. And
Yeah.
don't overthink it. Just put the keyword in those four places. One caveat, though, if you have an existing page and it's doing pretty well, and you don't have the keyword in your URL, don't change your URL to put it in because you're giving Google a brand new page. Keep that as is. So do that on like brand new pages going forward or pages that aren't performing well. But otherwise, you want your keyword in those four spots, and you've done a lot. Don't overthink it. Just do that. Stick to those basics, and you can do really well.